WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I'm going to have my mask all next week. And this is kind of a little thing for sponsors out there. If you want extra love from me, whether you're Costas and I'm wearing the shirt today, any of our sponsors, State Fair, any of the great places, Nacho Mamas, you need to give me a mask to wear next week when I'm in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl. And the Maryland Lottery has done that. Seth Elkin is here doing pinch hitting for all pinch hitting. I swore I was going to have every person from the lottery on. John Martin says, I'll make most weeks, but then I'm going to send some other significant individuals. This guy's significant. He sends me an email every week that have all the $1 million winners in it. Seth, welcome on to the lottery. Where's your mask? You got your mask? You're inside but alone, correct?
I am bright. I'm inside and alone, so I don't need a mask. I have a mask. It's right over here. But
I'm going out to LA next week, right? So it's my 28th Super Bowl week doing this. I skipped last year. And when I hit the NFL about a month ago, I was thinking, am I really going to do it? Or are celebrities going to come? And then the Rams are in the game now. So This mask will get full use. It's got the little slit in it here for, special protection and all that out in Los Angeles. How you holding up? How's the lottery holding up? My wife was disappointed once again. We pulled in front of a sponsor out in Owings Mills the other day, and they have the Powerball Mega Millions up, and someone hit the jackpot. And it wasn't us again,
It's a lot of fun for us when those jackpots are rolling. And yeah, the Mega Millions got hit last week. But we love when those jackpots are rolling because it draws in a lot of people who maybe don't play all the time. They see that jackpot number go up there and they say, all right, now's the time to buy a ticket. But it's a lot of fun when they're rolling. And of course, a year ago, January last year, we had the big $731 million jackpot out in Lanaconing. So we're sure hoping that happens again. It's a lot of fun when that happens.
Lanaconing, by the way, home of Lefty Grove. I drove through there on the Maryland Crab Cake Tours, a beautiful little field there. People win, and you send you're in charge of the email that goes every week. I get like if it was a Wise Market or Royal Farms, or if Costa sells $1 million ticket, it says who wins it. But there are people that don't claim their prizes, right? Like that's the craziest thing about the lottery. Are we still looking for that person in Frederick that was like a lower winner for, was it Powerball? I believe it was a couple months ago.
I think we've gotten most of the Powerball winners. I mean, there was a lot of publicity, obviously, with the Powerball roll that ended in January. But I think we got most of them. But we do like to put that thing out there every week because I think it's impressive just how many big wins there are. Because a lot of people think, well, the big wins are scattered and they're few and far between. But we put out that list that you're talking about. We call it the weekend winners, and we have a list of the winners of $10,000 or more, scratch off prizes of $10,000 or more that were claimed in the prior 7 days, and draw game and fast play tickets that were sold for $10,000.
If I only win $5,000, you don't out me, right? I mean, I got to get $10,000.
That's right. 10 grand is the cutoff for that, but it's surprising just how many of them there are. It's usually somewhere between 20 and 30 of them a week. At that level. And it's a lot of fun to put that together. And when you compile that list, and it really kind of reinforces the fact that people are out there winning on a regular basis.
Well, you guys give me scratch offs, and I haven't done a crab cake tour event in a couple of weeks because of COVID, right? And I'm wearing the mask in LA. We're going to restart, by the way, official announcement, Seth. We're restarting the Maryland Crab Cake Tour on March 4th to honor my father. His birthday's the 5th. And we're going to do it at Nacho Mamas and Mamas on the Half Show. We're going to be down in Canton. So we are bringing it back to life. But I was giving away scratch off tickets, right? At the end, and I didn't really even have them in September and October. I didn't get them till kind of late. They were Raven scratch offs. And I'm down at Costas. And John was actually there. We were celebrating my 30th anniversary back before Christmas. And I gave some tickets out, didn't think anything of it. And it's been a long time since I've distributed lottery tickets. We used to do it at the barn back at the turn of the century when, Ray Lewis, Rod Woodson, Ed Reed, all that stuff was going on back in the day. And it's been a long time since I gave someone something where they won. So I gave the tickets out, and I'm wrapping up my equipment. Todd Crandall was there, who I wrestled with in Dundalk 35 years ago, and his wife, they were playing, everybody's playing. Guy stood up, he's like, I think I won $50. I think I won $50. And he had the app and sure enough, he went into the other side over Costas and got his $50 and came back and said, hey man, I'm glad I came today. You bought my crab cakes from me. I said, no, Maryland Lottery, let's just play. But there's something about winning that it doesn't even matter if you win $5 or $50 or certainly $100 million. Winning's fun, man. Winning just has its own energy, right?
What's really fun is we had somebody at the state fair a few years ago, and of course the state fair is a big deal for us. We have the whole lobby area of the exhibition hall at the state fair is the lottery area, and we've got a retailer set up there. And somebody a few years ago at the state fair bought a ticket, a scratch-off ticket, and won $10,000 on the ticket. And scratched it right there in our area. We were kind of all there watching, and the person won $10,000 right there in front of our eyes.
And they don't believe it, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
right, exactly.
Literally, the guy that won $50, there was that moment between you're a $50 winner and the moment where he yelled, "Hey, I won!" And there were like 20 of us there. Like, we're like, "Really? Let me see the ticket." You know, it was like when you catch the baseball in left field. Hey, can I see the ball? You know, I just want to touch it. You know. But Seth Elkin is here. He is sitting in this week for John, for Doug, for Roz, for Carol. Do I smell? Do they not want me? I mean, you look very ready to be here today. Tell everybody what's going on with the lottery here this week, because you got things going on. Pick five. There's so many games that can be played, and we're doing Monopoly, and that's what all the ads are right now. And John has been torturing me with Monopoly trivia questions that I've been okay with, by the way. I haven't been as bad
You
as
did
I
pretty
thought.
well. I watched. I saw it. Yeah.
It was okay. I didn't cheat, though. That's the, I went through this with Ray Bachman a couple weeks ago. He hosts trivia. I said, how do you keep people from cheating? He's like, you always know when they're cheating. So I got one wrong on purpose just to got the short line wrong. But what else is going on? You got a lot of things happening and a bunch of new games as well, right?
Yeah, well, we could start there. New game. Next week, we're launching on February 7th is the first drawing of Pick 5. We're adding Pick 5 to our daily game lineup, joining Pick 3 and Pick 4. And we're really excited about this. We have new scratch-offs all the time, like you talk about. Every month we launch new scratch-offs, and a few times a year we launch new fast play games. But a draw game is not something that happens all the time. It's a heavy lift. There's a whole lot. It touches all areas of the lottery when you launch a new draw game. You got to get new drawing machines. You got to update your software that runs the computer system that sells the tickets. The sales team has to get out there and talk to the retailers and make sure they're up to speed on everything. It touches all areas of the lottery when you launch a draw game. This is the first time that we're adding a new draw game in 6 years. And we think this is going to be really...
3 and 4 have been here forever and ever.
In fact, if you want to play trivia, we can play some Maryland lottery trivia. You want to do that?
Well, I did okay at Monopoly trivia. I'm probably better at Maryland lottery trivia than you think, because I've lived here a long time.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
I know all the jingles. I can sing the old ones. Yes.
Here's what I had in mind. It's Maryland lottery history, but it's framed in a little Baltimore sports history too. So I'm gonna try and give you some
extra
hints.
pressure on me now.
I'm trying to,
when people say, "Hey, Ness, you do sports radio. Here's my trivia question. You better know the answer. You're not really an expert." You know. So
I think you should be able to get these. Although if I, a Pittsburgh sports fan, can stump you on Baltimore sports trivia, that's probably not good. So I think you'll do pretty well.
I think you've outed yourself as a Pittsburgh sports fan.
I'm wearing my black and gold. This is my Penguins lanyard from the back-to-back Stanley Cup from a few years back. So,
well, Capitals got one in there too, by the way. But even though I don't root for them anymore, I was up there hating on the Penguins with your coach Mike Tomlin. We were up there. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Tomlin and I went to Game 6 when the Caps beat the Penguins' butts and then lost in Game 7. We were at Game 6, and I'm with the Steelers coach. We're down on the glass. We're in Pittsburgh. His wife's wearing some Mario Lemieux thing. He's wearing Pirates Steelers stuff. And the dude behind us in the second row has a fat head of Ovechkin carrying golf clubs. Like, it was the greatest thing, the greatest picture ever. I'll find it for you before we get rid of it, because the Caps did go golfing after that, but then won the Stanley Cup the next year. So, things have evened out. We've won a Super Bowl here more recently than Jens and that have up in the Berg, right? So
it's looking like it's going to be a while before we win another one. So
we're still going to be talking about 1979 in baseball here for a long time. So anyway, pick 5. We were talking pick 5. I interrupted you.
Pick 5 is going to start right here in 2022, but Pick 3 and Pick 4, like you said, these are our two oldest games. These are the games that have been around the longest.
Pick 3 was the original, right?
Pick 3. Well, Pick 3 was the first one, yeah, and Pick 4 came along after that.
What's your number? You got a 3-digit number? Mine was 936. I hit on it once.
So the first trivia question is: do you know the year that Pick 3 started? When was our first Pick 3 drawing? And I can give you a hint to help
1978. 1978.
You missed it by a couple. 76.
I only remember it in 70. Well, 76 I couldn't play. I was only 8.
I was 4, I think. So yeah,
that was a good guess though. 70. I knew it was in the 70s because I go back that far. And
my trivia hint was going to be that the Orioles had a future Hall of Famer on their team that was only here briefly, and it was he was here the year that Pick 3 launched.
Yeah, I remember Reggie. Yeah, I remember that too.
Perhaps some people here would like to forget Reggie, maybe. I don't know.
I remember Reggie's an Oriole. I remember the deal. I remember him sitting out. I remember my dad taking me. This was when my dad had to sit down and, how dads have to have talks about the birds and the bees with their kids. And certainly, we've talked about, parents in the community for safety of their children and whatnot. My dad had to have to talk to me about, son, you're an Oriole fan. Free agency, they have more money in New York. That's why. So I was 9 years old, 1977. I had to learn the lessons of sports that they have more money. They get the good players. Doesn't work that way in the NFL now. Seth Elkin is here. He's with the Maryland Lottery. He is sitting in for John and Carol and Raj and doing a phenomenal job until we get to the point where we start talking Pittsburgh here. All right, so that was first. So pick 4. You're going to ask me the next question.
Pick 4. Do you know the year Pick 4 launched? And
I want to say 1980. Hold on. Do you want to give me a hint? And I'll get the note. I was going to say.
All right. The Baltimore sports hint for that is that something extremely good happened in Baltimore that year.
1983.
There you go. I didn't even need to give you the rest of it. Something pretty bad happened that year too. But 1983. 1983 was the first Pick 4 drawing. So
all right. So it's been Pick 3 was 76. Pick 4 was 83.
And now Pick 5.
Well, what happened after that? Because you're younger than me, at least I think you are. Lotto kind of happened. That's when big drawings, in the late 80s, early 90s, that was when they had $1 million.
Lotto came along. Lotto,
you couldn't win $1 million playing the Maryland Lottery at East Point Mall in 1977. You could win a couple hundred. It wasn't like jackpot in that way. So this is Pick. Why did it take so long to do Pick 5? That's what I want to know. Where's John? I need answers.
It's a good question, but we definitely felt like this is going to be a strong choice for us because we know that daily number games are really strong. We do really strong sales on Pick 3 and Pick 4. And it's kind of interesting because, the first games people think of, you say to somebody, name the first lottery game that comes to mind. The first thing they're going to say probably is Powerball or Mega Millions because the huge jackpots and because they get so many headlines and national news coverage. But, Powerball and Mega Millions combined only account for about 7% of our sales. And Pick 3 and Pick 4 are more than 20%. So
Seth, I told John this, and I've told everybody, since I started doing this with you, and I've been coming to lottery annual events with y'all. I've known Roz, and her husband's been a listener for 100 years,
right?
Forever. And, and it's ubiquitous, right? The lottery, I see the ads, I see Kirk McEwen pulling ping pong balls, and Sarah Fleischer, and PA, all of that for all of these years. I've been involved with you guys going on a year now and doing the crab cake tour, going out. And obviously my sponsors, Wise, Royal Farms, a lot of my Costas has a whole cage for lottery, right? Old school. And how many people I see now at the machines. Because I always say to my wife, I'm not a machine player, right? I went down to the casino, to Sport and Social, the weekend of Wild Card weekend. No, that was divisional weekend. It was even better than that. It was the really good games. The 2-2 on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And there's huge lines to go to a betting window where you see a human, at the racetrack. That's the way I'm used to do. If I play numbers, I'm used to talking to the person and saying, yeah, my Pick 3 936. Here's $20. Give me some Powerball. We know whatever we do. But the kiosks and the machines are big, they're beautiful, they're bright, they're easy to use, but I always see people in line in front of them. I never noticed they were there because they probably weren't there for a long, long time. Now that the machines are there, I notice people playing all the time. I don't think there are very few places I go now where I don't see lottery tickets. And again, I'm sponsored by Royal Farms and Wise, and I go in and out of a lot of sponsor locations, but you guys as an organization, I said this to John, you've done a good job of being kind of everywhere. Being a state organization, you want to be open to everyone, but lots of places I go, I see it, and it's easier than ever to play. My wife wants to know when she's going to be able to play mobile, by the way, and I'm like, calm down. They got kiosks, all right? Pull the credit card out. But my wife buys Powerball and Mega Millions. She's a faithful, person to do that, but she has started buying from the machines now because they're everywhere, and it's easy to do.
Yeah, they're especially in the kind of locations that you're talking about. A lot of the convenience stores, a lot of the grocery stores have the machines, and it is convenient. And we're probably at roughly half of our retail locations have a vending machine at this point, somewhere around that number. So it's become very, very popular, and it's going really well for us.
I have a war with machines. It's been going on all my life. Things break, and it started with the toaster and the microwave oven, and it's been going on for 40 years. Seth Elkin is here. He's from the Maryland Lottery, giving away prizes. And we've talked Monopoly here a little bit, and I'll wait for John or Carol next week to torture me with more questions about community chest and where to build hotels off of Park Place. But the Monopoly game is already starting to cash out. You send these emails, as I said, you're the last face of the lottery here, but every week we talk about winners. The Monopoly thing, it really is amazing. You see the little ticket, you see the line, you're thinking, hey, somebody's hoping to win $20 or $100 or $50 it cost us. People win $100,000 on these scratch-offs, and it happens every week, right?
Yep. And again, that's a surprising thing. That's why we love putting that weekend winners email out. Is that you get to compile those all in one place and really see it. And Monopoly is going to be a great promotion for us. Already is, and will continue to be for the next several months. 4 different Monopoly scratch-off tickets, and then the 2 Monopoly Fast Play tickets. And you can enter those into the Second Chance contest. And the first drawing of the Monopoly Second Chance contest is coming up on the 21st of February. So.
You don't get free tickets for the Ravens for life in the Monopoly game. What are you getting in Monopoly game?
The Monopoly drawings, it's cash prizes. There'll be 10 cash prizes of $2,500, and then there's a rolling cash jackpot that continues to increase as we get to the date of the drawing. Right now, it's at more than $31,000 at this point, and it'll continue to rise as we get up to that drawing date.
All right, Seth is here. This comes to the point. I wore this for you. I was over Costas the other night. And by the way, I discovered something. Do you like crab meat? Being from,
I haven't had a crab cake in a long time, but I'm looking forward to the next one. You got to give me a good place to go.
All right, I'm giving a plug to Costas because I went in on Saturday night. My wife and I were watching football games and running around all weekend, and we wanted to get some prime rib. It was on special, so we went over. And I always get the crab imperial. And we brought the food home. And here's the worst part. My wife and I sat at the bar. We got proper beers, had our masks, take them off. We got oyster Rockefeller, delicious, like incredible spinach cheese on the oysters. They do it perfect over there. The best spinach in the world over at Costas. And we ate it, and we took all this food home, thinking we were going to eat it home. We put it in the bags, put it in the car. It's 12 degrees. We're driving out of there. And my wife's like, I can't eat anymore. I'm like, I can't either. So we put all the food in the fridge. And the next morning, I woke up with crab imperial in the refrigerator, and we had English muffins. I've eaten a lot of crab melts at Burke's before Burke's went out of business. They now sell your lottery tickets, by the way. It's now Royal Farms at the corner of Lombard and Light, where I spent my childhood as a sports writer. And I haven't had a proper crab melt. When I say crab melt, it's got to be on an English muffin because it holds the meat. It's got to be crab imperial, not just some crab you throw on there with some mayonnaise and some nonsense. And then it's got to be proper cheddar cheese, and you have to grill it right. I mean, you want the English muffin to be toasty. You want the cheese to be melty and bubbly and delicious on the top. And you need that crab imperial to be delicious and local. So I put it all together at like 10 in the morning, and I zipped it into my little toaster roaster. And I pulled it out, and it was like a piece of my childhood. So I had my Costas shirt. I've been texting with Pete. I said, you got to put that on the menu. But here's the thing. We went in, and I said to them, because these look so good on the air, the Costas shirts, they pop. And I know you're going to say it's because it's black and gold. That's what the Towson people and the UMBC people are going to say. So I said to them, you guys got the best looking shirts for it being Steelers colors. And they're like, well, it's Towson and UMBC too. And I'm like, it's just the best looking shirt. They gave my wife one. So my wife has a Costas shirt. I have Crab Imperial. And you now have a story of like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't know why Costas didn't go to purple at some point. These were their colors back in 1971, so they've kept them. But your Pittsburgh thing, are you from Western Pennsylvania? Do you get it honest, as they say?
Yes, I was. Born and raised there, and so I come by it honestly. And I don't understand people that move to another part of the country and then adopt the team in the place where they moved to. It never occurred to me to do that. So I am a Steelers, Penguins.
How tough has it been for you to be a Steelers fan in Baltimore, like for the last decade? I mean, I know a few people like that. I swear to God, dude, I would not want to move to Mount Lebanon and put a purple flag up. Like, I just wouldn't. Yeah, not that I wouldn't be a Raven fan. I would, even though I like Mike Tomlin, and we texted the other day. He still has a job. But in the case of the Steelers and the Ravens, This is one of the weirdest weeks ever, right? Like John Martin comes over. He's a Browns guy. He's from Northern
Right.
Ohio. This Cincinnati thing, we've never had to contend with them. They've never been any good. I said to Luke, I've been telling everybody, how are we going to hate Joe Burrow? And somebody put a great tweet out the other night, and I'll find it because I retweeted it because it was delicious about him. I mean, do you hate the Bengals? Nobody hates the Bengals, do they?
It's hard to hate a team. Well, they're to me, they're not the Bengals. They'll always be the Bungles, which is, Myron Cope from the radio business, who I'm sure you maybe have met.
Myron Cope calling the action from downtown Pittsburgh. They're going from the left to the right on your radio dial. That's what they're doing, Seth Elkin.
That's a pretty good impersonation. That's pretty good.
That was really good, by the way. That was a 9.
Myron referred to them as the Bungles all the time. There's a clip on YouTube of him, in that squawking, nails on a chalkboard voice of his, saying they are defining why I call them the Bungles. That's how I'll always see them.
I was in the press box in Cincinnati the day the press box announcer called them the Bungles. This is like this is before Marvin, I think, even came. This was like, and like everybody in the press box just went, "Oh, dude, that guy's job's gone. He will not be calling the game next week at all." Somebody wrote about hating on Joe Burrow and where the axis of him being cocky, confident, self-assured, and likable to where that's going to like go over the edge to being arrogant, a jerk. You know what I mean? Like, because right now it's like Tom Brady when he's being, oh, he's cute. He's not Drew Bledsoe. And the Patriots, I mean, they never win anything. They don't even call themselves Boston. They don't even have a hot team. And now 20 years later, all they have is parades, and Tom Brady's not cute anymore. So I'm figuring there's a shelf life on Joe Burrow as cute little guy in Cincinnati when they're winning divisions and they're 8-1 and they're kicking your butt and our butt and it's not good. Joe Burrow's not going to be. This isn't going to last long because I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to be playing in multiple Super Bowls, much to my chagrin.
It might very well end on Super Bowl Sunday, because if he wins, then that might be the threshold you're talking about.
Well, didn't take me long on Roethlisberger. It happened the minute he walked off the set and got drafted by the Steelers. Seth Elkin is here. He is a proud Pittsburgherian. Pittsburgher.
That's right.
Makes me hungry. Sound like a pitch makes me want a Permani. He is. What's your role with the lottery? I didn't give your title. I always try to put titles in it. I don't have a title here.
Yeah, I work in communications with Carol and Roz and Doug. I'm assistant director of communications.
You send me emails. You crow about $100,000 winners, sometimes $1 million winners. Seth sends the emails that I usually use when I talk to John or Roz or Carol or Doug. But now you're in the family, this dysfunctional thing we do. You're going to wind up being on rotation. And I'm going to say right now, if the lottery's still involved with me and us, and I hope you are at football season, although it's not official yet, that we're going to play the Steelers twice next year. And I would think that when the schedule comes out, you should probably earmark a Wednesday in fall season so that I can wear this shirt. I'm going to get Costas to make some purple shirts, and I'm going to wear that in football season, and we can all talk about how we're chasing the Bengals.
I am hoping for the best, but somehow I imagine I might not have a whole heck of a lot to say.
Dude, you don't even have a quarterback yet, although it might be Aaron Rodgers by the time we get.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you have something nobody else in the league has. You have an African-American coach, so at least that's going to happen. That much I'm sure. Tomlin will still be coaching the Steelers come football season. Hey, man, keep giving winners, and I hope to get you out for a crab cake too. When Roz comes out with her husband and he sits down, and Greg from Northeast tells old nasty Nestor stories. Hopefully we're unmasked by then, and we'll get you out at some point in the spring. But I love getting emails. It's great having you on. You've been a fun foil on this one. All right.
Great.
How are the Penguins doing? You know?
They were on a real hot streak for a while. They had won 17 out of 19, and then they stumbled the last few. But
Lemieux sold the team, right?
They sold the team to Fenway something or other out of Boston.
They sold to John Henry's people, right?
Right, yeah. That's right. So I don't know exactly what that portends for the future. Lemieux is still definitely involved, which is good. He's only saved the franchise 3 times now, so He's got a home in Pittsburgh forever. That's for sure.
So you're old school. So what year were you born? Give me your date of birth. What year were you born?
1972.
So you're old like me. Okay, so you remember. Maybe you don't. Maybe the Penguins weren't a big deal in the early '80s.
They
but
really weren't.
Yeah, I covered the Skipjacks when they were black and gold, right? I actually have a Skipjacks black and gold jersey in my closet from that era. And Lemieux was drafted. I mean, the Penguins were so bad that they picked him first, right?
Yep.
Kid from Quebec. And he comes in and he was so good, he never played in Baltimore, right? Like he skated one time in an exhibition game in Baltimore, as like a thing. One time he was in the building ever. And Alain Lemieux, his brother, wound up playing for the Skipjacks for about a year and a half. And I knew Alain pretty well. And I had interviewed Mario on the phone, and I had interviewed Mario whenever he came, down with he had hair like me. He had this is total. It was like a 1984 mullet. It was like, if you go back to see Mario back in the day.
I used to have one of those too, but unfortunately not anymore.
No, see, I did it right this time. The one I had in 92 was more of a mullet because the hair in the front was short. So I've had to let the hair in the front get longer so that it's a true Hammerjacks thing. That's kind of why I man bun it back, not to let it down, but it's got to be long in the front. That was the mistake I made during the Eddie Vedder era back in the early 90s. So I'm fixing it up. But Penguins, I still hate them. It's great. I still respect Lemieux, even though they've been sold. They're owned by the Red Sox. It gives you another reason to dislike them if you're from here, Seth, it's been a great fun foil for us. And come on out and have a crab cake with us, man. You were a great guest.
All right, sure.
Appreciate it. Seth Elkin joining us here, the assistant communications director.
Assistant director of communications. Yeah.
Right, to make sure I get it right. I got to get everybody's title right. I have no title around here other than washed up radio show host. We're going to be in Los Angeles, California. They're sending me out to Hollywood next week. I have masks. I have proper Maryland Lottery gear. This is going to keep my drink cold out in the heat of California. We're going to be indoors for all things Super Bowl 56. Full coverage presented by our friends at the Maryland Lottery and our friends at Wise Markets and Royal Farm and Costas and all of that. We'll be live on the set all next week from the Los Angeles Convention Center. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking long hair in Baltimore positive.